Hey everybody, Nick here, back with another update from Cinegear 2024. So today I want to talk about one of probably the coolest things at Cinegear. And no, I'm not talking about the Batmobiles or the Warner Brothers studio lot itself, but of course an exhibitor. I'm really interested in lenses. As you guys all know, I've been kind of going into a real deep nerd hole of cinema lenses and all the little tiny differences between what bokeh looks like to different anamorphic squeeze ratios to fall off and vignetting and T-stops and all of it. And I think there are some kindred spirits over at the V35 Project who have been tuning lenses for several years now. They started with the original project called V35 as an homage to K35, the legendary Canon cinema series that a lot of cinematographers love, and they took the Canon CNE lenses and tuned them to look more like vintage K35 cinema lenses. The benefits being number one, availability, number two, price, and number three, consistency across the set. Because of course, for old cinema lenses, we didn't always have the benefits of modern manufacturing techniques. And as old as these lenses are, they haven't always been maintained to the best degree. So you may find a set where the colors don't match very well, or where some of the rings are either way too stiff or way too loose, or there's grinding in the gears, etc. And you won't always have a consistent look. Not only that, but even with sets that are perfectly well maintained and are as close a match as you'll ever get, the lenses themselves were simply designed differently back then. So for example, with the K35 set, the legendary Canon K35s, they're all aspherical lenses, but some of them exhibit much more onion skinning in the bokeh than others. So the 50mm, for example, has super heavy onion skinning, the 85 a little bit less, the 35 and the other focal lengths even less. And some people enjoy that kind of thing, but some people want a more consistent look. So their project, the V35 Project, takes modern cinema lenses with modern housings, manufacturing techniques, tolerances, functionality, etc., and tunes them to get the closest visual facsimile to those vintage lenses as they can. And as popular as those sets were over the past few years, the good folks at V35 have decided to expand their horizons to a number of other sets. These include tuning the new Nisi Athenas to look like vintage Olympus OM lenses, tuning the Sigma Cine full-frame primes to look like vintage Kowa full-frame lenses, and a bunch more. So I talked with Dominic Barbaro, head of the V35 Project, at length about all of this stuff. Have a look at our interview, and then we'll come back for a couple more comments. Hey everybody, Nick here. I am with Dominic Barbaro of the V35 Project,
yes,
and
indeed.
I thought it'd be really fun to come check out this booth. So Dominic, I think the V35 Project, you said, is about 3 years old?
Yeah.
You guys started with a special set of tuned lenses of Canon CNE primes.
Correct, yep.
That you tuned, reassembled, coated to make them look a lot more like the original K35 primes that are so legendary and beloved. I found the project just because of you guys and your YouTube channel,
right.
and completely fell in love with the look of those lenses.
Right.
And so did half of the cinematography world. And since then, your project has kind of exploded beyond that original set to, I don't know, what you have, like 6 or 7 different sets now?
Eight total.
8 total,
and
with
6 more in development.
All right. So tell me about the history of the project and what sort of the present and the future hold.
Yeah, totally. So I mean, basically as a rental house, I kind of got a little scared of the liability of vintage lens ownership. It's very expensive. Yeah, Northwest Camera Co. So it's very expensive to maintain vintage lenses. Also, you know, consistency and continuity and all of that stuff for a shooter, it kind of annoyed me to take them out myself because, you know, I'm having to tell post to like color match and try, and not everything always matches, and inconsistent T-stops. Really, it was about the service cost. I mean, it was kind of scary.
Okay.
So, you know, K35s got popular, people were rehousing FDs, and I thought, you know, maybe there's something we could do that kind of changes the way we're thinking about modern and vintage and kind of hybridize the two. Now, vintage lenses, while great, there are things we wanted to fix. So like with all of this stuff, while all of our tunings are based on, you know, older lenses looks, there's a lot of things that we also don't like about some of those looks that we tried to go away from. So all of our looks are inspired by, but it's not trying to be a direct copy, because that would then just bring in some of those visual problems that some of the old lenses have as well. So trying to take what we like the most and leave behind things we weren't so happy with the sets. So
yeah, it's kind of nice that like the V35 CNE set doesn't have like the super heavy onion skinning on the 50, which was like, it was most prominent in the K35s on the 50, and then a little bit on the 85, and like far less on the other focal lengths. And like now your V35 set, it's just like consistent from the old CNE L series glass.
Right.
How do you choose sort of what the target will be from the lens you've got? So like for the Canons, you went from CNE to K35. On something like the Nisi Athenas, you went from them to Olympus OM.
Right.
How do you sort of make those decisions?
So any lens that has a vintage base, like the CNEs, you know, we're basing our tunings off the rangefinders and the K35. So sticking in the same family. Okay. But when you get to lenses like a Nisi or something new that doesn't have a previous generation of a cinema lens, that's when we're kind of jumping to try to emulate something else. You know, so with the Schneiders, the CNE projects, those are all based on previous generations of older glass, whereas, the other projects like the Sigmas and the Nisis and these Viltrox over here, those are all based on things we like about other sets that we wanted to try to print. And we're looking at like the base lenses, is there enough there to start that we think it would be a good match to try to blend them together? And that's just a lot of research and visual, you know, sitting down with tons of footage, looking at the optical designs and being like, I think this can get us a closer match with this set than trying to do it with another set. So trying to take our work down so we can keep the cost down.
Do you have an optical engineer in-house, or do you work with your tuning partner to sort of find those, you know, those directions to go?
So we base all of our looks and start all of our looks in-house. So all of our research and all of our stuff is done by our team, and then our lens designers are down here in LA. So we kind of present the lenses and all the kind of feedback and visual cues we want to take. And then they basically tell me if I'm crazy or not and what we can and can't do. And then we kind of decide, is this project worth it or not, if we can't get, you know, to a certain degree of closeness of what we're trying. So, you know, then it's a lot of back and forth of, here's a tuning, do we like it, are they consistent, fix this, go back. It's just a lot of back and forth until we get to that landing spot that looks good.
That makes sense. What is your favorite set from what you've done so far?
Man, they're so different, and that's why I like them all. You know, it's this Viltrox set, I'm a 1.3, like I love 1.3. As a shooter, every format, you can use every pixel, you know, 3x2, 4x3, 16x9. You don't need frame guides or anything. It's just like a direct deliverable down. So you get all those anamorphic characteristics, you know, especially with these Viltrox, barrel distortion, flares, some like elongated bokeh that you wouldn't get, you know, on a spherical. I just love this set. And then
barrel distortion after your modification.
Correct, because stock, they have a little bit pin cushion and a little bit neutral. So we kind of went barrel on the top, and then there's slightly just a little bit of barrel here, leaving a little room for us to play in post, because I really like adding barrel distortion and resolve. Just so I can shoot a little, you know, edge to edge. But we did add some kind of plane fall off in the corners here. So you'll see like on a chart, it really drops off in sharpness around the edges and the corners, just to really pop out what's kind of in the middle. And then from there, I really like the Nisis. They're just so small, and the coverage is great, and they're such a different look. You know, that really textured bokeh. People that do love the onion ringing, it's there and present and just really vibey. So those are really fun. And then just jumping into the Sigmas, like the Koas that we emulated them after, you know, had a bokeh characteristic that we just couldn't duplicate, but it's so incredibly unique and special that we tried to do something incredibly unique and special. It's not the same, but we wanted to give the same uniqueness to the bokeh in that set, to where like if you see this, you've never seen it anywhere else.
Very cool.
So it's not the same, but the uniqueness and its like rarity feeling is the same that we wanted to try to do. So the Sigma lens set here has been really, really popular as well,
Cool. Well, I can't wait to see what comes next. I know you guys are going to work on the DZO film Arla's lenses.
Yep.
I've been really interested and excited about those, so I can't wait to see what you do.
As soon as those
them.
are done, we'll get you up.
All right.
We'll send them your way.
I would love to see them. Everybody, check out the V35 Project and Northwest Camera Co. Dominic, thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Nick. Yep. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Okay, so what did you think? I am a huge fan of what they're doing. I really like Dominic himself. I've really enjoyed watching some of the videos that Northwest Camera Company has published over the years about lenses, cameras, etc. I like their point of view. I like what they do. They're a great resource for certain types of things that can be hard to find elsewhere, like, hey, what does a Nisi Athena lens look like with an Ivoscope? You can find that on some of their videos, and it's tough to find elsewhere. But what I want to really drive home, what I really keep coming back to over and over as I delve through this filmmaking process, is a very strong belief that strong opinions make for strong art, right? And so the V35 folks, they have strong opinions. Hey, we've got this set of lenses, we've got this set of vintage lenses that we like, and we're going to try and tune them this way. And sometimes their tastes and your tastes will converge. So for me, the original V35, the Canon CNEs made to look like K35 lenses, to me, that was beautiful. That was an absolutely gorgeous pairing, and so far my favorite set that they've made. When they go to tune the Nisi Athenas to look like Olympus OM lenses, for me, the look isn't exactly my cup of tea, but I'm so glad that they do it. For other folks, it's precisely what they're looking for, and the point is, it's another tool in the toolbox, and some people will use it to great effect, and some people won't like it as much, like me. But the point is, they've got a strong vision and a strong opinion, and that makes for a strong final output. So, you know, it's going to be a mix and match. So places like the V35 Project, you're going to find some things that you adore, some things that aren't your cup of tea, but they're specific. There's not just a bunch of generic, these are all kind of the same options, pick any of them because it doesn't matter. It's, these are highly specific options. We can tell you why, we can demonstrate that, and when you use them, you'll have that much more specific results for your art. So that's just something I've really been thinking about a lot, is that strong opinions make for strong art. And of course it will make for more polarizing opinions on the final product, but that's okay. That's okay. I mean, as long as you're not trying to hurt someone deliberately, that polarization is great, I think, and that variety is what makes life interesting. So thank you so much, Dominic, for the time and for letting me try on some of those lenses and get some sample footage. I really look forward to seeing what other lenses and modifications you guys do in the future. For those of you who want to learn more, check out v35project.com. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.